Bam, bam, bam. Hello. No one's there, but hello. Hello, future. And soon to be present, maybe. Appreciate it, people that are there presently. Also, I know you're there. Appreciate it. Cool to hear it. Oh, yeah. And Gary, I don't know where you've been. I hope everything's cool. Just throwing that in there. I don't feel like Gary's been busy. I don't know what I'm doing. I was just thinking I'd go grab some music here. Soothing. That's so short. That's the problem. There's not that many that are long that also say no copyright. Lots of no copyright individual ones, but that's just a pain in the ass. It's pain unless I like do it myself and gather them and then make a compilation that I know is no copyright. That sounds maybe good. Cool. So, this is like life. We've been looking at Shaligrams. Welcome to the Shaligram Zone, where we look at Shaligrams. I know. It's pretty cool. I'm just gonna. I was looking. Basically, I started making this post, and I decided, what am I doing? I might as well stream, and so here we are. So I'm just gonna get started. So this one I thought was interesting because of not just this. So the first thing I noticed about this was the quartz is not like evenly distributed. It's pretty much like one-sided. And the pyrite also not evenly distributed, pretty much looking one-sided, but opposite to the quartz, which to me it just doesn't make actual sense. From a fossilization standpoint, I don't see the argument that, like, if there is an explanation for this, I don't see how it is explained. I guess, like, there was a void, so the pyrite was pre-existing, and then the void filled with quartz. Okay, that's probably the actual explanation. I can see that explanation, so, okay. Let's keep going, though, on the details. So that was the first thing I noticed, so I guess that is a more, let's say, able to be explained, although interesting. There's, like, a connection across here. Like a chakra kind of connection is kind of happening, where there's a division of the currents here. I would say there's more going on than just like a subsequent the quartz being brought in by water, basically transported into a void space of the shell. So what I really compared to this, though, was this one that we talked about yesterday. It very much has this kind of thing, like in the shapes over here, but within the ammonite itself still, like this is still the boundaries of it. I just thought that was interesting enough to note. But this one wasn't particularly exciting. Then I added those images. At least my interpretation of it. Maybe it has... Pardon me, Shaligram. I don't mean to be offensive. That was rude. This Shaligram is certainly very exciting. This is Shaligram. So what I was doing, just when I decided I should stream, was going through Shaligrams that I've already looked at. And just kind of seeing what was there, and like just seeing, is there something I can find of relevance before, or that I didn't see before. And I don't think I really took much from this Shaligram when I first saw it, except for that it had these weird, I guess, like brachiopod type things. I really think I'm saying that. Yeah, something like this, although it's the other way, I don't know. Yeah, there we go, like this kind. Husteta. Oh, like this one. Brachythyrus. Okay, that's not the direction. It's interesting, the modern shells don't go, at least these ones. Because this image shows it going... Oh no, I guess it is. Okay, so maybe that is the best one there. Oh, so maybe that's the Cleo Thyroidina. Nice, I didn't have to. Okay. I guess this is the best actual species or whatever. Let's see what Wikipedia says. Is this like extinct? Extinct. That's a good sign. Because the flood is not happening anymore. Which is what caused it. Is this thing not centered? That's centered. Whoa. Okay, there we go. There's the numbers. Pardon me. There we go. The numbers say it's centered now. Sure, whatever. Maybe I had it not. Anyway. Okay, so that's cool. We've got a species. Sorry, I'm a little kind of talking to myself, mumbling in my little world. Fucking A, it's weird doing this even now. All these years later. It's like, this is just kind of, it's kind of weird. Like, I think about it while I'm doing it, where I'm just not like that when I'm just like looking at things. And I don't really really, like, I just don't feel comfortable, I guess. Like, I never look at the camera practically. It's very, I noticed, like, that's not how most people are on That's not how people, like, treat their YouTube channel. Or audience, I guess. And they're like, hello, and like, the full screen, and like, we'll cut to a clip, and like, I'll edit it and to put time into this. No, you're getting exactly the amount of time into it that it is lengthwise. Pretty much, besides like prep, which obviously means something, but I mean, I don't know. Anyway, pardon me. So then I made this thing, I guess. Spoiler alert, I wasn't sure what was on there. There it is. Where I just kind of separated things. I noticed that generally here, there's like an actual boundary that seems this side, the top side, to be like a drop down to a lower level. Where they're not actually the same brachiopod, or this thing. It's interesting how subtle these are. Oh, it's loading. I can't just click it. Oh my god. Let's see what it says. Carboniferous Pennsylvanian. Let's see, Pennsylvanian. Pennsylvania. Oh, how do I not How does that feel wrong? Oh. Dear God, that's really it. Like, now that I like look at it and have a doubt in my mind as I write it, it really looks like I grew up in Delaware, so it's like not even a foreign word. 323. So, okay. I don't know, just kind of checking out. Let's see. Pennsylvania, this is Texas. Texas has this stuff going on, and the Ammonites. Lots of parallels between Texas and Shaligrams, at least from what I've seen from Diamond Miner Evans. Fuck, man, I really need to learn how to pronounce that, sorry. Might be correct, I don't know. Okay, so point is there's boundaries here. Sorry, this is so slow going. I don't think anyone's there, so I guess that's okay. There's boundaries here, and there's ribs. Like these ribs, they don't quite align. Like especially this one, like the peak goes to there, and then this peak goes above it and like below it. So it's not like a continuation of the same shell, and then it kind of fades out over here, and it an area of this chunk, and then an area of this chunk, which I kind of divided here because it looks like there might be some difference, although it looks like it might just be the same surface, and so it's more so part of this, but it is kind of getting divided. I put it in green and this in green because I thought they were actually the same layer underneath, but I think it's more actually part of this one, but just kind of starting to become more maybe like the green one. If it could have eroded more like it seemingly eroded here, this portion, at least some portion of this was seemingly eroded away to expose a little bit lower, just like a thin layer below. I don't know. I might be mistaken. It's very hard to say. That's the totality of the pictures of the surface. And the other surface is just like a smooth, rounded surface. But then what's really interesting is that, like, while this oddity is happening, it's actually happening on top of a negative imprint for an ammonite. That's really, like, distinct right here. Not so distinct over here and down here, which is odd. Why would, like, let's say that somehow an ammonite imprinted this whole thing. And somehow it did so in the presence of a brachiopod. And the whole, like, Shaligram Stone somehow took like a rounded shape, where the brachiopods happen to be like atop the chakra of this disc, because that's like this without these happens all the time. Like if we go like this one, like this one, I don't know if I've looked at this one closely. Interesting boundary there. I love how it just abruptly becomes like Matrix. Boom. Well, that's because they're fossils. No. Nah. No, it ain't. Oh dang, look at these evidences. So cool. But they just are like little discs, like a lot of time. I guess if I'm not here and just searching for shaligrams. Like, actually, I know what to do. I know how to do it. Lowest price. There we go. That one, which is probably a fake because I have it. Son of a bitch. I was like, you're selling the same shaligram. I just bought that. I feel like I was seeing it everywhere. He's like, oh no, here we go. This is really what I'm looking for. Like, this is just standard. Just them forming like this. Standard. That's so cool. Wow. That one's real cool. Whoa. chakra just pretty much near the center. Looks like not always at the center, but this one is quite at the center, which is interesting. Like it, and then it's got like a smear over running to like a block that's kind of creating the ammonite shape, but it's just kind of like smearing into it and creating definition with this lump here. Oh, Shiza. Forgot it wasn't in an image. That is so... Wow. Centered, relatively centered and interestingly eroded. So very much like... Where was that? Darn, I was hoping it was right there. Where was it? I think if I go up, I'll probably... I might have passed it. If you see it and see me passing it, like, it's how it goes. Fuck. There it is. There it is. So this is the other side, this basic thing, just like they always, like they always generally are. Just like a smooth face with a chakra. It's just a little chakra. That's an incredible. This chakra is incredible. It really looks energetic to me. Crazy. And then this one's real thin. Oh my god. Just thinking how they would influence like different energies. I don't know how they would do those things, but whoa. What is up with that chakra? These are, I don't really look at these ones that much because they're so simple in appearance, like generally, but they do have details that I miss. Like this has straight edges in the, like, here. And then over, up. Wait, what? That happens a lot. Too much to just be like, time, erosion, coincidence. It's rounded. Why would it erode it like that? In just like natural currents of a river. It doesn't make sense. All the time, it doesn't make actual sense. I don't know what to make of this. Looks like the chakra has two little holes, one on each side. Like two currents, maybe. One going in, one going out, where it literally passes through a pinch point and goes back out. That's an interesting thought. Let's see. Gotta go like that. Go like that. Like that. I'll put the window on that screen in order to copy it with it zoomed like that. figured it out because I was like, oh, I need these shaligrams zoomed in. But let's say there's a current that goes in one side. And literally goes through this chakra. I'm just thinking, there's so many other details to even think about it before I just go doing that. There's so many like weird anomalies about it, like over in this area on the left. I realize it's hard to maybe see, especially on a smaller screen. Like in that area, some weird stuff going on. I don't know what to do about that unless I can figure out how to make my mouse more visible. I tried to look into it, doing it with Streamlabs. I don't know. I couldn't find anything particular. Maybe I can look right now. Let's see. General. I don't see anything about mouse. A little surprising if it's not there though. So it's probably just my not knowing where it is. I don't see anything. Nothing. Oh well. But I'm thinking about where a current comes in, runs into a resistant current, where it eddies inward and outward, but like layering so that it's doing both simultaneously. Where like maybe it's going in. Let's say along this boundary. Etc. I guess keep going actually. So maybe like for sure it's like related to those things going on. I guess really going along here, around there. But where it's flowing either in or out, I guess. I don't know. I'm just thinking if it's possible. Let's just do the other one just to kind of visualize it. Like where it's literally going out. I don't know though, like, kind of, I guess in the midst of it all. But maybe also kind of pushing more along the boundary. Maybe both pushing along the same boundary. Does that make sense? Because they're both eddies that are like swirling that would have like a pressure outward. So maybe they would kind of push into some boundary that's generally the same boundary and just flow near each other. Like maybe even like a going one way in the outer segment of some segment of current and then the other way in the inner segment. I don't know. Don't know. Let's see. Looks like some other ones here. Totally distracted myself. That's okay, let's check these out. No one's here right now. Okay, cool. I don't think so. Sorry, I do that thing where I'm like maybe fishing for comments. Don't feel obligated. I actually don't particularly intend to. I'm just more so observing. This one's interesting. Let's just divided, and like this side has no definition, and it even has a like defined boundary here. That's incredible. But the structure itself abruptly ends at this boundary. Why? What, the shell is broken? And yet the whole structure is rounded like this, like all the other ones that seemingly are related to the like shape of the shell. So like, why would this structure be having this shape? This one's crazy. Looks like the chakra broke off with the other half. Like the top piece that came off this had the bottom chakra on like the little bowl underneath it divide from this piece of the stone, and I've never seen the chakra interior exposed like that. If anything, it's like this one, where it's just kind of eroded away. I've never seen it, literally. Like, it even has a little dot at the center. Like, what is up with that little dot? That makes sense when there's, like, current flows going through the chakras. Oh my god, that looks so cool. I really like this one. Lots of details too, like some shale, it looks like on the surface at the bottom in this area. Whatever's going on with this line here. Oh wow. What is up with these chakras here? Or the ribs? The teeth? I don't know what I'll call things anymore. I think the teeth, I think specifically, are like the boundary here. These are ribs. Okay, we're good. We're good. Okay. But like they're little narrow slits, and then they actually down here get really defined structure. And this is an imprint of a ammonite. Doesn't make sense. As always. That one's incredible too. Dear Lord. The colors in it, I love it. Wow. Bottom left, all the colors in there. Oh my god, I don't want to mouse around. Don't you go mousing around, man. Don't mouse around with me. Shit. Oh, I can run with this for at least a minute. That little, like, divide next to the divide right there. What's up with that? All these colors. I don't know if I've ever seen a Shaligram with that kind of colors in a chakra like this. One of these. Maybe in like a bigger ammonite or Shaligram where it isn't so internally exposed though. I don't know. Something about it. Something about it. That chakra is so cool too. Guess there's the one missing. It's chakra. Okay, so we were talking though about this. So then there's one of those that has like the backdrop of this ammonite imprint, but then embedded in it is this other structure. Doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. For fossils. Okay, now that we've concluded that, let's I was thinking I'd just kind of scroll through and see what happens. I saw... I don't know if I can find the ammonites or the Shaligrams, so it doesn't really matter. What I was just thinking about. I wonder if there's any interesting features to this one. So this is one of the common ones I point to as not making sense. Where it has an ammonite this way, that's actually one with an ammonite this way, where their boundary is, I would argue, a little too cohesive for two shells to actually abut one another in such a defined way. We can't, there's no angles to like really look in there, but it's like this, we can see these ribs from this one going up to like here, and then this one we see ribs going here. Like we can see there's like a sharp corner region where they meet there and like a general boundary there. What the fuck? Just can't be. Just can't be unless they're not fossils and they're caused by current flows. which would like explain all this kind of like saturation outward here that seems to be going on. Like a stain. Just like a stain. Changing the color here along a path where erosion and higher currents were happening, so the shale fine-grained particles were removed. Systematically, that's a good indication, a good indicator. If there's some blob like this, that's a different color. Just the pyrite in here. What? Oh my god. It makes me think like it's different steps where it removes the shale, then it removes maybe the quartz, and then it removes the pyrite, at which point in this case like suture patterns emerge, but like it didn't remove the pyrite, so we have pyrite suture patterns over here, or whatever that is. Maybe it's not pyrite, it looks like it might be more of this kind of stuff. Really, only 2 images? I think there's more. Maybe we can go. I know they have new images. Let's see what's up. They got some new ones. I said something kind of rude where it's like, I go there, see there's not any new images. I said, and it's like, I literally check every day though. It's not really there. Anyone's not like, oh man. It's just, it's on me really. I'm just looking too much. I just gotta do other things. Come back to them. This one's a new one. Lots of little tiny ammonites in a row. From one corner that has like a pretty sharp line there. Something else going on over there. Seems that I think that's here going up that way. So this, which has this seems to continue this line. Whatever's going on in here is not limited to whatever's going on in there, and it seems to continue there, and probably generally be related to everything above it here. Here we see some like drilled in currents, creating a couple of these, whatever modern science calls them, by the current flow though, drilling and along boundaries, and I guess like maybe going in along the edge but out along the very center in a way that created a corkscrew kind of eddy into the stone, which is common in shaligrams. We've established that. Apologies to just say that. It is what it is. Here's another one, but above it, I'm just trying to look at this area. Like, there's little waves in there. That's interesting. But then there's like a almost like spokes. And then off of one side is this little lobe-like thing, and then off of this side is another one. That's pretty odd. And right below it is an ammonoid structure that has right below that, like generally below its chakra, this line cut in the Shaligram there. That's kind of odd. That seems to generally point over to these, like that boundary there. Which, when we look at Shaligrams that are like coded in these things, the relationships of them that we can see in there some more. That's crazy. I don't know what's going on in there, but it's real curious. The stone was dividing along like an equatorial current or polar current, really. It's probably polar. This is probably equatorial, just based on, like, I know I sound like I'm just making shit up sometimes, but it is probably equatorial though. So this was probably a pole to pole current, which we found Earth had during the global flood, going from the Indian Ocean between Antarctica and Australia and up to the North Pole, along the western margin of North America to the North Pole, where it basically went to pole, while there were like equatorial currents. So there's probably something of that nature going on here, where there's a pole-to-pole current that's going up this way, and there's an equatorial current, so maybe it would be worth just kind of, since we got a flat surface, a lot of these images are at like angles, so it's hard to look at something more like this. So like a pole-to-pole current that's probably based on the Earth. I'm just gonna say going that way. Let's say, just like start off with a guess, where this is literally like the North Pole and the South Pole of Earth, which I think are like actually inverse, but based on the Earth. So, and then a equatorial current that's probably like here, specifically like the widest point. And then like especially above it, like in the I guess maybe more so pushed upward by this current, then to be above it across here, especially in this band. So it was pushed up off of like a balance point of the equatorial to generally flow there. So then it's interacting with this pole-to-pole current that's probably cycling on the other side as well back. Like it's not just ramping off, like it's going around the stone and maybe going the other way here. I don't know, but we could probably decipher it if we look close enough. But generally just interacting to create these eddies. So there's just a bunch of eddies here created in this region, would be my thought. And maybe it honestly looks like there's also like the currents don't just go. That's fine. Don't just go like parallel with the base. Like it looks like there's a current that's maybe generally wrapping around the stone. In more of something like this region. Possibly getting kind of pushed also like more towards the equatorial belt kind of limitation to it. I don't know, just kind of proposing some things here. I don't really see any like great guiding details from what I was just looking at besides just the general pole to pole and equatorial aspects that are just like in shaligrams. Like the way this is abutting this, it's kind of taking a lobe shape to a point, but not quite to a point. Like it's still trying to be a lobe, but it's abutting this. So it kind of sharpens, but it still has a lobe-like shape. But then back here, this seems to like go specifically to where this boundary is. Another sharp line right after it. So it's literally between two sharp lines, which, according to modern science, can only be explained by coincidence. Let's hit play again on that. That was probably fine, right? Pardon me if that was like, no, why? Oh, I remember this one. This fucking, oh, dude. I noticed when I just glanced, like, this way it looks kind of like a chakra sideways. Whatever. Like going like this. Like 2 chakras. Like it's trying with these 2 eddies to couple, I guess, into a single eddy that would then have like been more standard shapes, but instead it's just like 2 stacked ammonites that have like a weird chakra-like boundary between them. Can I make this bigger without... Okay. Okay, there we go. Without saving it. There's so many details. I could probably spend a while on this one. That's real odd. Like a really nice circle and then relatively circle, but it's still got like a boundary here that's kind of pointing to an ammonite type shape going on. And yet having this like perfect circle almost approaching. No such thing, man. No such thing, man. Like, wow. This mess of things is incredible. The details, like there's a ammonite here, like distinctly we see the chakra, and maybe not so distinctly back there, but like it's in the stone. It's just not, it might not actually be physically there. It's more just like a color by, I don't know. Not that I don't know, but just, I don't know if it's there or not. But the material behind is like at least colored by the process of the, so it has like a subtle chakra and then like a dense chakra, which is interesting, like a positive negative kind of energy to it. But then a lobe out this way, and then off of the tip of this ammonite, which tends to happen in the current flows a lot, is this path that runs over to what seems to be like a chakra maybe forming based on the way that angles the arc to it, and looks maybe like a chakra there, that then would suggest like this is all part of an ammonite that was pseudo forming, like on the surface, eddying on the surface, like creating a negative imprint into the surface, but it literally could not overwhelm the current over here. Maybe I should snag that there like that, where there's just generally a current seemingly like in this area. Current definitely going through that path. Definitely. 100%. I don't know. I mean, certainly it's an approximation, but I don't know what other currents, but definitely one going like that. Probably just looking at it, and if we just do the same, which is what's cool about ones like this, they tend to do this, where we can just kind of follow them. Probably a current that way at least, but then probably more than that. It looks like we had also an eddy of some sort over here that was like filling the space that we noticed earlier, relating to this thing, although seeing it from this angle, it's kind of taking like a chakra, interestingly. Like two chakras and a lobe. It looks much more like this is the lobe of, and a lobe of an actual ammonite, even though it's got anomalous characteristics to it back there, but it's looking more like that. But then this is wedged between these currents, which is a good sign that we're onto something reasonable. That there would be like an eddy wedged between two crossing currents. And probably a layered. Like looking at this, it looks like it happens again, maybe like here. For some reason I'm thinking like there. Possibly there, like that, but then like repeating. I mean, if I just follow that, or like below it, really. Something where it's like got certain paths that are interacting as like quadrants, basically dividing the overall interaction, but being collectively like currents. They're like one current, but interacting in quadrants. So I guess there's a current going across this way, or this way. this way or this way? What would create this? Oh my god, those ammonites, the cluster. It's like a galaxy cluster. It's like the cosmic web. Oh my god, isn't it epic? It's so epic. It's totally like a cosmic web. Whoa. Oh. If not, although the cosmic web kind of relies on redshift being interpreted with some amount of like that the distance is essentially that the objects we're looking at are actually where we see them. The galaxy, the cosmic web depends on that. When we look at a galaxy that's like 10 billion light years away, the light has essentially traveled in what we can account for as a straight line. And it's unclear that we actually know that thing, like light of that distance, traveled in a straight line. I've argued it traveled in a figure-8 magnetic field pattern, basically a toroidal pattern, and then it reached Earth, so it didn't really travel in a straight line, which then means the cosmic web is highly suspect in some ways and may not actually be the structure of the cosmos, although it may be like still I don't know, still locally observable on those scales where like we're still seeing what actually is in some regard. I don't know, but the cosmic web kind of implies, and it's talking about larger scale things that I would propose are like figure-8 type things that are just splattering patterns that then look like this like line like this, but it's really like a figure-8 type thing that then depending on like the angle, I guess, that it takes to reach Earth. I'm not sure if I'm making sense right now. Fuck. Probably partially, but I'm just a little lazy about thinking, I guess. Figure-8. We got figure-8. Like, here's Earth. And light's just traveling, but it's not necessarily exactly this way, and essentially can, at any point, happen to be at the exact right angle where it then actually arrives at Earth. But if it doesn't, it just, or other things that it absorbs, is absorbed by, so that it's like no longer visible. But if it doesn't get absorbed, it keeps traveling until it does get absorbed, and then at some point, though, it reaches Earth at like 12 billion and then 14 billion. So like it, if there's like a actual, say like a galaxy, and then that's like a galaxy of galaxies. If there's a galaxy of galaxies where the Milky Way is like just a star in its galaxy, where it is like a massive system, it has a nucleus, a massive nucleus that makes other systems pale in comparison, but we don't even see the nucleus as like a single system anymore, because it's composed of sufficiently large systems that we see them as those, and we don't really see like the larger system that it is like a part of, because it's so large. But then if the light arrives at Earth, essentially it can create what I'm claiming is this pattern can create just like a splay of like galaxy, 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 and then like some kind of web that may not actually be real. I'm not completely sure. Pardon the little tangent and etc., but this kind of works for that there's an eddy centered here. There's like a boundary. It's really preventing it. Reminds me a lot of that taco one that I talked about in yesterday's. Let's see. Taco one. Taco one. Like, in that it is only limited to a certain taco shape, because this passing current just didn't let the structure form, while other stuff's going on over here that it's just not really, like, if it could be divided by enough current, then a taco type structure could potentially form in something of that nature. What else do we got? Definitely just a bunch of details. It looks like over here is like a chakra forming right there, and another one below it, like next to this chakra. These are definitely chakras right there, but next to it is like a pseudo chakra that's kind of forming a lobe over here to this lobe. So chaining the ammonite structure to have like a dominant eddy and a recessive eddy, and then being limited there. But then maybe like across here, there's one here, there's one here. So maybe these were kind of interacting as well across some boundary that didn't really like get divided. So it's just kind of got this thing here, but then chaining this one also to this, it seems, and then this one looks like it has something going on there. That's not like fully forming, but this also, based on this, maybe also chains over to this, which then has this chakra. And it seems like between the pressure here that's kind of pushing in here, because this is trying to form an ammonite, like full-blown eddy, so it's applying a pressure into this, which then over here is generally applying a pressure around it, so there must be a pressure from these things to like squeeze, is my point. So then we're squeezing this current that then seems to have gone this way. I meant for that to be aqua, but whatever. I'm just cutting through, and that looks like that might have played into this like odd shape here. Or possibly the other way, like this is more like a spray nozzle. I don't know. Kind of makes sense that it would be like a spray nozzle shoving current past this eddy and taking like a spray nozzle kind of thing to do it. And then running into this and kind of ramping off it a bit. Which then looks like it kind of ran around some. Like not fully, but a little bit of this current looks like it went around along a boundary there. Maybe influenced over there too. But that's where this ammonite is. With definite chakra there. Couple others stacked over there. Another ammonite in there that's a little too parallel with this like slit thing here. Looks very related to this slit over right there, that portion of it, where then it kind of goes down and away from it, interestingly. There's something right here that looks kind of reminiscent of what's going on there. Like it's trying to form an eddy, but there's too much other stuff going on, so it's like divided completely there. But it's got like this U-shaped taco type thing. Interestingly, across from it, which is suggestive that it's actually forming like a chakra, like here, between these, like a lobe and a lobe, like they were energetically coupled, like positive, negative in some way. I don't know. Seems related. And just that, like, I've seen so many of these chakra things, like it looks like a chakra thing. It smells like a chakra thing. It's a chakra thing. Okay, maybe it doesn't smell like a chakra thing. I can't confirm. I feel like there's more to this stone that we're not. I guess it's this side. This is the other side, I guess. And then most of the pictures are of this side. I guess that's it. This one's pricey. I was like, how much is this one? Never mind. I know it has a lot. I don't know what it is, but I know it has a lot. That's a lot. Not like a lot, but out of my range, that's for damn sure. Did we look at this one? Yes, yes. 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 I don't know if we looked at this one. This one's kind of weird. The chakras on it have like little things on the side. Like what in the... It's like little arms. I don't know. Maybe secondary chakras like the other ones, but coupled to it in some way. Very strange. I don't think there's any other images of this. Whoa. Sorry, guys. I'm freaking exhausted. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just kind of low energy. Like, I can't bring... It's really just documenting. That's how it is, I guess, because I'm so low energy. I can't expect like actual people, like people continuously watch. Like, oh my god, this dude put me to sleep. It's interesting, but I'm tired now. These are curious. What? Do you guys see that? What the fuck? I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, you guys can watch me do it, so you'll know there's something where I'm putting marks as we go. Okay. Just to kind of see it better. What is going on? I don't know why it does that. Seems like over there is related to. And then that one, maybe I'll just use a different color, whatever. It seems like another row of them. Like, what the hell? What basis? I'm sure they're arranged in peculiar ways. So I'll run another random color. Probably all related in some way. It looks like it would be difficult to get a bearing on the whole stone of what's going on here. Also, that looks related too. That's just weird. And mind you, I didn't even do them all. Like there's another one here that's pretty in line there. It's really like a hole. That one is like a puncture hole. The one up here, like they're all like look how in line they are. There's a subtle one, maybe a subtle one. Something going on there. Another one, another one. This over here looks kind of just based on this area, like kind of like a chakra, which gives me the impression maybe what's around it is like spiral related. I don't know. I don't know. I was just thinking maybe there's some like boundaries to it. But possibly like an eddy type thing there that's related to why they're not in line here. Like this bound, these are here, but they're not like over here. They're not over here. There's this line and then this. That's so weird. And then the stone has these things. This is the one that I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to find it. This is the one. Oh man, it has these that I was reminded of when I saw this. Like, this is boundaries of an ammonite, but on the backside, it looks much more like this. So my thought is it was starting to etch an ammonite by like etching this path, and beginning the process in a stone that was already came out of an ammonite. So it was like seeded from an ammonite, and then some other eddy started to form on its surface to then start to create an ammonite in it that like probably was related to this. But looking at this side, like there's something going on here that's rather chakra-like. Like that shape to me is kind of chakra-like, coupled with this. Maybe like dot 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 to like over here-ish, maybe. So like a lobe-esque type thing that maybe was trying to form there, possibly more even from down here, like this whole thing kind of thing, where the currents were using the surface and creating a chakra type thing there after it came out of the stone as like a chamber, or like a group of chambers of this chunk. So it's like literally taking an ammonite and cutting an ammonite into its surface, but not fully to the point where there's really anything but the chunk. But the chunk has like it's even down here, like incredible features on this one for sure. And just everywhere. I mean, there's too many to just keep marking them like that, but that looks too, like, patterned. We're doing it just to make it harder to see, so it's more clear that I'm right. Even has like a nucleus thing, maybe. More clear that I'm right. That's a good way to put it, huh? Since that's not at all what's happening, I mean, in terms of, in that instance, certainly I'll be putting down some fire. I mean, that's true, that's true. I don't know what else to make of this. It looks kind of like it's nooked in this nook. It's a kind of dot 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 dot. Some kind of eddy here. I don't know why exactly it would be doing this like abrupt pixelated puncturing thing. Maybe it can start like that. It even looks like it's carving in there. And creating like a drilled in feature like this. Like literally just drilling in. So like small scale things of this nature that are organizing themselves into a pattern that then coalesces into an ammonite. I mean, it looks like they kind of, now that I see that, like they, maybe like there's a method to their madness. This one looks, these look very Halloween-like. So, it's a good time to look at them. But like, this current drills in here, and then it creates like a chakra there, drills in there, and like moves over here, drills in there, is my interpretation. But maybe it could like keep doing it in a more eddy kind of way that like influences each area one after another, where it doesn't like get caught. That's, I guess, it gets caught here and like non equivalently erodes directly there, and then it gets caught over here, and then it kind of quickly goes through this area where it like very abruptly falls into this area, where then it gets caught there a lot and doesn't have the capacity to like eddy on the surface in a larger scale eddy, so it just eddies in a smaller scale eddy. Kind of makes sense, an eddy on the surface that would then like be trying to form a larger eddy of that eddy, where like an eddy is eddying. The eddy is eddying. It's eddying, it's eddying, it's eddying, it's eddying. But then it starts eddying, 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 eddying. And then that like starts eddying, eddying. But in this case, it like only moved, and then it got like caught or slid, I guess, at some point, and then got caught. So like none of this really happened, but there's probably an element of something like that that at least commonly happens with how the eddy like progresses and moves and so on. I love this one. Like, what? Here we can see it kind of drilling in and getting a little very similar over here. And then getting in there, and then there's like a little chakra down there. Another one with just a row of dots. Like, what the? Dear Science. Dear Science. That's all I gotta say. I don't know if it really needs more. If I be like, what? Like, dude, the rock, they're like, okay, it's fossil and no. No. The pyrite, oh my god. So cool. Little holes poked in the modern paradigm over here. I think that's my new saying. I think that's my new saying. I like it that much. I got a saying after all these years. Holes poked in the modern paradigm. Oof. Feels good to have a saying. Bada bing. The little chakra looking thing going on down there in that mess. Very cool. I mean, looks like current flowing out this way. I guess ran into another current that was flowing across this way. Like it literally exited the rock from somewhere else that it was generally flowing to here. And then it flowed this way, but it's got this like shape, so let's look at this. Specifically that. And then it's like a paintbrush. And then this one generally across this way. That must have thus been going right and crossed through it. Where it must have also ran into another current that then went this way. Let's see if this makes sense when we see some more details, but real quick, we can also compare this. This shape is like a lobe. Where the lobe seems to have like smeared out this extra length here. Probably because the current's going this way, so it also went out this way and out this way, but just like pushed a boundary, I guess. Probably flowed out that way just in terms of how much it shaped the rock, pushed the boundary that way. Looks like also maybe etching some kind of nucleus region next to the lobe or another lobe, I don't know, without seeing more detail to this. It's going to that ammonite. So I guess that. I think this is the trail here. So this trail leads to pyrite. Underneath it is a weird chakra. Right at the bottom too, and at the low point here. Just opium. Opium? It is, I mean, it probably is. If you mean shaligrams, I'm certainly addicted. It seems like there's a never-ending trail of observing them without actually figuring out how to like apply it in a science, like a invention or like a useful way. Beyond just like for understanding's sake. So probably I could see it being like opium. I don't know if that's what you're referring to. That is 2 in the morning. I'm probably killing myself. It's got black, supposedly, they're described as having black shale from the Spidey shale in the Himalayas, and then quartz, pyrite, clay, probably other stuff. I don't know, like rock makeup that well, things of that nature. Not, I've really kind of barely scratched the surface, relatively, compared to how much I've like looked into geology in general. I just avoid that kind of topic. Like papers that are about rock types. I mean, I'll look for like geochemistry, but I'm not like basing anything on rock types really. Besides, like, there's basalt. Like, I just don't know enough though. That's just standard though. Basalt, like, as a rock type, it doesn't matter though. Like, I don't have to know like the true depths of what a geologist can know from like the term basalt or any other rock type. Like, I know that there's so much there, and I have just avoided it. It would probably be useful, I mean, certainly, but it seems like a daunting task. Where reading geology papers is at least like a less of a like requiring prerequisite knowledge, I guess. There's a couple instances I used rock types, I guess, like hornblende, but just rarely. Okay, I'll just keep scrolling through this. It doesn't seem to be changing. Weird that the features all just kind of ripples like the boundaries of an ammonite will do. I don't know if I looked at this one. I think I need to go soon. I feel like I'm fucking my teeth. My teeth are fucked, probably. Oh, I thought I was invincible. Mine, like people tell me, definitely told me, hey man. But like no one like stopped me. No one was like, dude, stop it. Stop it. You're not gonna want this. Oh no. And these pains that come from your decisions that were just like smoking. Just the smoking really messed my teeth up. Like I'm more okay with like death than like prolonged like suffering of like bodily pains, I guess. I don't really want to die, but like the thought of death at least is like no life, no suffering involved. Like if there's an afterlife, I guess depending on what's going on there, like there's probably not as much suffering as in this world. My thought is afterlife is like the credits where all the after party. Something more where like it's not in ignorance, but in like full awareness of things, but like also living like a full life with that experience, and then like going back into a life of the not having that, not knowing, dead before you were born, like in general, or like truly there was like a complication. Because I guess that could be either. If I assume it was in general, but it was a complication, then I don't know. Clearly misread. But if it wasn't, then it was more like a spiritual thing. I don't remember shit. This one's like lopsided. Anomalous things going on here. Interestingly, the chakras are pretty lined up, but it looks like there might be like a leaning to one side kind of characteristic that the chakras can do, but in another material on the side of it, which is kind of interesting. Like the chakras retain more of a pillar-like nature, while material on the side is kind of shed, I guess. This looks like it's kind of not the right shape. It just doesn't look right. Looks like this area of currents interacted with it to a point where it couldn't take the same shape as the top. This one doesn't have the same shape because it's near the boundary, probably. It's got kind of like a flattened edge here, more than here. Seems to also have a flattened edge there, more than there. Another boundary, though, limiting the ammonite structure. Looks here like a lobe, another lobe, a chakra, but then also a chakra in a different dimension kind of chakra. Which we see this all the time again. Like, in subtle ways where it's not like like this, where they're below one chakra is signs of some kind of like eddy, and not here so much. Signs of an eddy underneath the chakra, at the chakra too. I know this one's got kind of a bad example because it's not truly what someone would call an ammonite. It is what someone would argue is not an ammonite, so that they can maintain their preconceived notions that ammonites are fossils, and not like actually admit what is wrong with the stone. Life that has inherently no meaning is scary. I don't know if that such a life exists. Even a mosquito must have meaning. And then, like, any human life is gonna certainly have meaning in the grand scheme of things, even if not, like, being at the forefront of, like, discussion, where it's, like, collectively known, although even that, I feel like at some point, like, we really consciously merge in ways that it really, even that is well known to one another for pretty much everyone. like a where people can recognize anyone everywhere. Like there's no one who's not recognizable by by anyone else kind of level of conscious awareness. Imagine that type of thing happens. So like, I mean, to me, like somewhere down the line in some like heaven kind of setting, where then like the meaning of all the lives is on display. And I mean, I don't know about the mosquito and things, but like, little fuckers, they're probably there, like, just laughing it up though. They don't need any. They're like, we don't need blood here. We're just hanging out, bro. Over in our world, it sucks. We hated it too. You fucking. We knew we'd go any moment. Boom, done. We knew. That's why we went for the ankles. Bitch, your ankles got bit up, brah. I guess not. So I should eat more garlic, huh? I don't eat enough garlic, for sure. I barely ever eat garlic, except just like by happenstance. So, not particularly against it or for it, I guess. Certainly don't seek it out. Like, when it's not like a menu choice, I'm like, oh yeah, that one. But if it's like in there, I'm like, alright, fine. That's kind of how I treat garlic. Alright, fine. So I probably have not eaten enough garlic. I got mosquitoes that are blood sucking vampires. That's just didn't scare them away. Oh man. I mean, definitely some interesting features on this Shaligram. Funny. It is funny. I don't know. I mean, I just don't know because I don't know what it's like to have eaten garlic. So I mean, I don't know that like truly matters. But maybe like people that eat garlic a lot are like, I know it matters, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know. I'm gonna pull up this Shaligram and look at it a bit. Oh no. Microscope. Why did that not work? Why is that not working? Reattach it. Hope that helps. Okay, good. There it is. I was just looking at this Shaligram on my desk that I set down. Yeah, it's pretty bad in Florida. It's pretty bad in Florida. I fucking... It's certainly worse other places, but... Okay, let's see. I don't know what to really look at. There's so many details. Pretty incredible. Like, do I got a toothpick? I know I got a toothpick somewhere in this mess. There it is. That look kind of like two lobes with a chakra right there. Just subtly. Not the most exciting thing to point out, but... That looks like a chakra. With layers. The top of the chakra right there. And then go fanning out to both sides with like roundedness to it. So it's kind of like a two-dimensional chakra. Whoa. And it's like cutting into different layers, like cutting underneath it here to like remove part of the chakra maybe as like a mechanic that can happen. It seems that I'm not even sure what that is. It's just like barely looks like anything relevant with the naked eye. Really can see like the way it seems to come up to quite the sharp chakra point at the center, like a little rook, some kind of castle like structure, and then has a somewhat chakra above it and like dark material coming down towards it. A little trail. Damn, I'm so tired. I should probably go. Definitely see some lobes forming there and chakras. For scale. That's like the tip of a toothpick. I guess I got this too. I lost what we were looking at. So like a millimeter across that chakra. Chakras there are two lobes that are kind of forming, but one on the right is much more circular, like again, like two ammonite eddies interacting across a boundary that are then like becoming one, basically. Wow. I don't know if I looked at this one under this yet. I thought I had. Definitely can see some like rib looking things. A little too much definition in there. Oh my god. I guess they're considered fossils, whatever. Whenever there's something to consider fossil, it's like the troll face is legit like the troll face. Whoa. I think that's the dude, like the face troll me. Troll face meme. Troll face. No way. That's too funny. How in the hell is troll face in me? That's pretty true, troll face. I mean, kudos, troll face. Kudos. Let's see, what does it say? Rage comic meme image of a character wearing a mischievous smile. Original troll face by Carlos Ramirez. It's inverse. I feel like I'm just looking for it. Like, there we go. That's incredible. I gotta get off the screen for a second. That's hilarious. Okay, I'm gonna actually get off the screen and get out of here. I'm gonna come back on the screen, but I'm gonna get out of here. This is good. This is good news. I realize I have another Shaligram that's probably really good for looking at under this that I kind of have ignored because it wasn't that like particularly of interest to me when I would look at it. Nothing like grabbed my attention like other ones. But now I'm seeing I can look at it in a different angle and see it in ways that like ones like this actually are really good for this. Alright. Till next time, thanks for hanging. Appreciate it. Good to see you, Echo. As always, till next time. Au revoir. Auf Wiedersehen.